As a child, Mary always loved going to the circus. She loved the acrobats, the animals, and the colorful clowns. But as an adult, her feelings about clowns had changed. They now gave her a sense of unease, and she couldn't shake the feeling that there was something sinister lurking behind their painted-on smiles. One day, Mary received an invitation to attend a new circus that had just come to town. The invitation promised a show unlike any other, with death-defying stunts and mind-bending illusions. But Mary's eyes were drawn to the image of the clown on the invitation, a grotesque figure with twisted features and blood-red lips. Despite her misgivings, Mary decided to attend the circus. As she entered the tent, she could feel the hairs on the back of her neck stand up. The atmosphere was heavy with a sense of foreboding, and the clown seemed to be staring directly at her. The first act of the show began, and Mary watched in horror as a clown pulled a woman from the audience onto the stage. The clown proceeded to slice her in half with a chainsaw, and the audience erupted into applause. Mary was sickened by the gruesome display, but she couldn't look away. As the show continued, Mary began to notice that the clowns were everywhere, lurking in the shadows and watching her every move. She tried to leave the tent, but the doors were locked. She was trapped. The clowns began to close in on her, their twisted faces contorted with glee. Mary screamed for help, but no one came. The clowns began to tear at her clothes and pull at her hair, their razor-sharp teeth gnashing as they closed in for the kill. Just as it seemed that all was lost, a figure emerged from the shadows. It was a clown, but unlike any Mary had ever seen before. This clown was different. Its face was painted in intricate patterns of white and black, and its eyes burned with a fierce intelligence. The clown fought off the other clowns with a fury that was both terrifying and awe-inspiring. It moved with a fluidity and grace that seemed almost supernatural, and in a matter of minutes the other clowns lay defeated at its feet. The clown turned to Mary and extended a hand. Mary hesitated for a moment, but then took the clown's hand. The clown led her out of the tent and into the night, and as they walked, Mary could feel her fear melting away. When they reached the edge of town, the clown turned to her and spoke for the first time. Its voice was soft and musical, and it filled Mary with a sense of peace. "Remember," the clown said, "fear is just a state of mind. Embrace the darkness and you will find the light." And with those words, the clown vanished into the night, leaving Mary to ponder its enigmatic message. She knew that she would never forget the terror of that night, but she also knew that she had been given a gift of understanding, of strength, and of courage. And she knew that no matter what horrors lay ahead, she would face them with a newfound sense of determination and resilience. After his grandmother's passing, Tom inherited her estate, which included an old building that she had owned for years. It was a strange and run-down place, but Tom couldn't resist exploring it. As he made his way through the musty old building, he stumbled upon a room that looked like a museum. In the center of the room was a glass case that contained a single object, a clown doll that looked like it was from a bygone era. Despite the odd feeling he got from the doll, Tom was fascinated by it. He decided to take it home and display it in his apartment. However, he soon realized that the doll wasn't just any ordinary clown doll. At night, Tom would hear strange noises coming from the direction of the doll. He would wake up to find it had moved from its display case to his bed. Each night the doll seemed to be closer and closer to him. But whenever he checked the security camera footage, the doll remained motionless. Tom became increasingly unsettled by the doll's presence, but he couldn't bring himself to get rid of it. It seemed to have a strange hold over him, a power he couldn't explain. One day Tom received a package in the mail. It was a vintage clown suit, complete with red nose and wig. There was no note, no return address, just the suit. Tom had never ordered it, and he didn't know anyone who would have sent it to him. As soon as he tried on the suit, Tom felt a sense of dread. It was as if the suit had taken control of him. He couldn't take it off no matter how hard he tried. That's when the nightmare started. Tom would dream of clowns chasing him, laughing maniacally as they closed in on him. The clown doll was always there, watching from the shadows. One night, Tom woke up to find himself surrounded by clowns. They were everywhere, their painted-on grins twisting into sneers. They were like the ones in his dreams, but these were real. Tom tried to run, but the clowns were too fast. They chased him through the building, their laughter echoing in his ears. He stumbled upon the clown museum, and to his horror, he saw that the clown doll had come to life. The doll was leading the other clowns, its painted-on grin twisted into a malicious smile. It spoke in a voice that was both soft and menacing. "You should have never taken me from my home," the doll said. "Now you're going to pay." Tom tried to fight back, but he was no match for the clowns. They overpowered him, dragging him into the darkness. The last thing he heard was the sound of their laughter as they closed in on him. The next day, the police found Tom's body in the old building. The cause of death was unknown, but there was a clown suit lying next to him, along with a note that read, "Welcome to the Clown Museum." The museum was never found, and to this day people claim that they can hear the sound of clowns laughing in the old building. John and his friends had always been fascinated by the abandoned carnival on the outskirts of town. They had heard rumors that the place was haunted, but they didn't believe in ghosts. One night, they decided to break into the carnival and explore the empty rides and attractions. They climbed the fence and snuck into the abandoned carnival, feeling a rush of excitement and fear as they made their way through the empty park. The carnival was filled with old rides, some of which were rusted and falling apart, while others seemed to be in surprisingly good condition. As they made their way through the carnival, they noticed something odd. There were clowns everywhere, painted on the walls and on old signs. It was as if the place had been taken over by clowns. The group dismissed it as just a weird coincidence, but the feeling of unease stayed with them. They soon discovered that the carnival wasn't as abandoned as they had thought. One by one, John's friends began to disappear. At first, they thought it was just a prank, but then they found clues that suggested otherwise. They found footprints in the dust that led to nowhere, and they heard strange sounds coming from the shadows. John searched for his friends but found no trace of them, and then he saw them, the clowns. They were real, and they were everywhere. They were twisted and grotesque, their painted-on smiles twisted into snarls. They chased John through the carnival, their laughter ringing in his ears. John ran for his life, not stopping until he was outside the carnival gates. He collapsed onto the ground, gasping for air. He had escaped, but at what cost? He was the only one left, and the clowns were still out there waiting for their next victims. From that day on, John refused to go near the abandoned carnival. But sometimes late at night, he could hear the sound of laughter and footsteps coming from the old park. He knew that the clowns were still there, waiting for their next unsuspecting victims. Years went by, and John thought he had left the horrors of that night behind him. He had grown up, gotten a job, and started a family. But the memories of the carnival and the clowns never faded completely. And then one day, he received a strange letter in the mail. The letter was from the carnival, or at least from someone claiming to be the carnival's owner. It invited John back to the carnival, promising that he would be safe and that there was something there that he needed to see. John was hesitant, but he couldn't resist the lure of the carnival. He decided to go back, just to see what was there. As he approached the carnival, he felt a sense of dread wash over him. The clowns were still there, painted on the walls and on old signs. But something was different this time. The carnival was alive, as if it had been waiting for him. As he walked through the carnival, he saw glimpses of his past, of the friends he had lost and the horrors he had endured. And then he saw her, his best friend Sarah, who had disappeared that night so long ago. She was alive, but she was different. Her skin was painted white and she wore a clown costume. She smiled at him, but it was not a friendly smile. It was a smile that promised pain and suffering. John tried to run, but the carnival had other plans for him. He was trapped, caught in a web of nightmares and memories. The clowns closed in on him, their laughter ringing in his ears. He knew then that he would never leave the carnival. Thanks for watching today's video. Please consider subscribing and hitting the like button. It really helps us out. And until next time, stay safe and never wander too far from the light.